Welcome to day 2 of the unfuckwithable challenge. Now, if you haven't watched day 1, or if you haven't written out all your stuff and haven't commented yet on the Facebook post, make sure that you do that because it's really important for you to actually do the work. Signing up for things and not actually putting in the effort and not doing the thing just actually increases our fuckwithability. That's not what you want. So make sure that you do that. Make sure that you're actually doing the work, because if you're not applying, if you don't take the time to actually do the work, then nothing really changes, right? You can learn and you can have knowledge all you want, but until that moves from head to heart, until it moves from thinking to doing, nothing really changes in our life. So this is why it becomes really important to make sure that you're actually doing the work. Now, in day 2, we are talking about energy. Now, if there's anything in this world that will fuck you up faster, it's energy. Focus. What do you focus on? Energy flows where focus goes. Here's the thing. I'm going to tell you the story now about what happened a number of years ago when I was first starting this journey. I had made some poor decisions, rash decisions that amounted to some pretty significant financial challenges in my business. I got scared, right? I had gone over what was sort of, I guess, my limit. And that fear, I started to panic. I wondered if I'd made the wrong decision. Had I walked away too soon from, things like, what was I thinking? I can't believe I put myself in this situation. All of these sort of big, heavy connotations, because money has such big connotations for us, right? More than anything else. Because it means so much. It means our freedom. It means our independence. It means the quality of our life. It means so much. The meaning we give money becomes the problem. So in my fear, I reached out to someone kind of looking for validation, affirmation. You're on the right path. You didn't make the wrong choice. That's what I was seeking. Do you know what I got? I got kicked so hard in the solar plexus that I spiraled for years. Not even joking. It took me a really long time to climb out of that ditch. And while I understood intellectually right away that this person's opinion really had no bearing on the truth in my own life, but the reality is that it became something, it became its own story. I became so obsessed with the fear that what if she was right? So she had said all kinds of like pretty heavy negative things to me. And it was hard and it was ugly, and it ended a friendship because of it, because of what sort of took place and what happened in that space, which was later, even addressed and sort of dealt with, because like it was so ugly and it was so heavy. Now, what she did was not okay at all. But what I figured out was that person had already shown me several times that they were not trustworthy, that they were not a person that I could go to for those types of things. So why would I go to someone that I knew was going to kick me when I was down? In my gut, right? In my instincts. That person was going to kick me while I was down. Yet I went there looking for validation. Plus, no one could give me the validation that I was seeking about whether I was on the right path or whether I had made mistakes other than myself. So going to anything external to us in times like this is going to show that there's a wound. There's something not healed within us. So it ended up becoming not about the decision that I had made, but my focus became about what this person had said to me. They planted seeds. I began to water them. I ended up making that my truth. They said, if you're not, you're going to lose everything. You're not on the right path. This was never supposed to be where you were supposed to be. You're still supposed to be doing, whatever. You need to just go get a job. You need to blah, 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 blah. And here I was taking big risks, right? I mean, I was out there, I had leapt, and not saying that I made all the right choices, but I mean, there's nothing more difficult than when you're mid-flight and you get that moment of doubt, because we're all going to get it. And then you get somebody who reaffirms that doubt. The doubt became the thing that I focused on. The fear, what if she's right? What if I fail? And that became where I started to go. Throughout the journey, I started to realize that it was not about what she did or said, but it was about what was inside of me that allowed all of that to get inside and to sink me, because it did. It really sank me. And it took me a really long time and a lot of work and a lot of coaching and a lot of support, and a big, huge reinvestment in myself in order for me to get out of that place. energy flows where focus goes. So I was now no longer focused on fixing my situation, but I became obsessed with the fact that what if she's right? And then it became a self-fulfilling prophecy, is that I started to make more decisions out of fear. I started to make bigger, worse decisions. And it wasn't until I actually reinvested in coaching and in getting help that I was able to harness that power back in and start to recreate something entirely different. And that was sort of that remembrance for me that energy flows where focus goes. If we are, spending our time worrying about what we don't have, if someone tells you that you can't and then you keep feeding that shit, then you're not going to be able to. If your language, your thoughts, your belief systems, if all of this stuff becomes really negative, you are spending time and an enormous amount of time with people who are not doing it, then you're going to be that person. I shared in my most recent podcast about, what it really means to be the person in the ring. When people come to me, I'm the encourager, I'm the supporter. I want to draw out of you what your biggest dreams are, your most passionate things, and then help you put strategy and things in place in order for you to be able to actively do the thing in a way that is in alignment with you. I am not someone who's going to tell you to settle. I am not going to be somebody who's going to say, stay at that job that you hate. But if you are spending time with people who are consistently doing that, if you are spending time at tables and most of your time with people who are not living a bigger purpose or a bigger dream, and then you go to those people with your dream, of course they're going to bust your bubble, right? So energy becomes one of the most biggest things that becomes where we become fuckwithable. So what I realized in that whole experience was just how fuckwithable I was. Someone tells me it's not my path, so I'm like, okay, bye. I'm going to get off my path. Like, instead of going, so that became a big part of the journey. Why did I need external validation instead of my own internal knowing? Why is it that I was seeking someone else to tell me that I didn't make the biggest mistake of my life instead of listening to this, knowing that what this meant was that I was willing to do whatever it took because I had this dream and this passion and this purpose inside of me. I did eventually get back there, but only because I was able to really start my focus and my energy and my power on this. So today's lesson is really about looking at who are you spending time with that's not doing the things. Like, if you have big goals and big dreams, you need to be getting in circles, groups, communities, coaching with people who are doing it. I recently had a chat with one of my coaches from the past, and we were talking about hard times and all of this stuff, and she said to me, Tanya, are you spending time with people who are lifting you to a new level? And I thought, actually, you know what? I have been really invested in helping other people, and I haven't been sitting at those same places myself. So then I became reinvested in making sure I'm in those places consistently. It's not that we're never going to go down or we're never going to have those experiences. It's that we learn that we don't stay in those places, and we have to learn that we have to consistently invest in ourselves, that we're sitting at the right tables, that we are sitting with the encouragers, that we are sitting with people who are helping us go to where we want to go. Because the biggest cost in my entire life was the cost of listening to people who were never going and had never been where I was going. Why would I listen to those people? Those became the questions that I had to start asking myself. And once I started asking those bigger questions, I was able to get into that deep inner work that allowed me to heal those holes in my own foundation so that I could really step into a different power and move into a future in a different way. So here's today's work. Here's what I want you to focus on. You're going to download your PDF, make sure that you fill it out, come over to the Facebook post, share with me where you can acknowledge in your life that perhaps your energy is flowing and being focused and being spent in way too many of the wrong places and not enough in the right places. I can't wait to hear what you have to say.